This Amazon Kindle is another roadside find. Like the iPhone 12 Pro Max from a while ago, it was found by my grandfather's friend while out on a bike ride. The screen is broken and displaying its last moments alive. The bezel is badly scratched and the back panel also has a large crack. One thing's for sure, I should go on more bike rides. Seriously, what's going on? You guys just throw your old tech out the window when you're done with it? I've never owned or repaired a Kindle before, so this will be something new. Speaking of new, we need some new parts. I've ordered a new housing, front bezel and display. Finding these was somewhat difficult as of Amazon's horrible naming system. This Kindle's model number shows as either a 6th or 7th generation Kindle, to which there are multiple models for each generation. The model number does tell me it's a Kindle Paperwhite, but both the 2nd and 3rd generation have the same model number. Confused? Me too. Eventually, I figured out this specific Kindle is a 7th generation Paperwhite 3rd gen. I wasn't able to source a Paperwhite 3 housing, so I got one for the Paperwhite 2, which shares the same model number. The only noticeable difference is the logos. The seller assured me it would work without issue on the newer Kindle, but I'll be the judge of that. After a quick heat, I can begin removing the front bezel. While it's glued in place, it doesn't put up much of a fight. Now that we have access to the 11 Phillips screws, they can be removed. This will allow us to remove the mid-frame of the device. Attached to that frame is all the internals, including the battery, motherboard and display. There isn't much inside this e-reader, but that's to be expected, though there is some interesting serial and JTAG related things in the bottom right, along with some unpopulated buttons. I'll remove the battery first to ensure no power remains while we detach the display. And with only 3 screws, our 1429 mAh battery comes out with ease. With how simple everything's been so far, you might think the display removal will be just as easy, but that's where you'd be wrong. Once I've detached its 3 flex cables, I can begin prying it out. It's glued in place, which is understandable, but this is no ordinary glue. It's designed to set rock hard, meaning it's unforgiving and not designed to ever be removed. It's similar to that of what Apple's been using to secure its back glass, that traditionally needs lasers to break down the glue. It was clear early on this screen was not coming out in one piece. Safety glasses and cut-resistant gloves were a must as glass was flying everywhere. And that's the inside of our e-ink display. A screen technology you've no doubt noticed is a bit different than most screens, as it retains its last image and only changes when power is applied, resulting in low power consumption, making it the ideal display for an ebook reader. The adhesive isn't just around the edges, but under the whole screen. I tried using so much heat I could barely hold it, as well as alcohol in an attempt to soften the adhesive, but it only made a marginal difference. Once the screen had been removed, it was just this last cable at the bottom that was lightly adhered in place. Here's most of that screen. The rest, well, it ended up on the floor for me to stand on. But we can't put our new screen on with the frame looking like this, so it's time to scrape away as much of the old adhesive as I can. I test fit the new display to find it isn't sitting quite flat. There must still be some glass dust stuck to the frame, so I used some sandpaper to smooth it all out. After a good clean, I think our new display is ready to go in. I can't avoid using adhesive to attach the screen, but I'll be using glue that can be removed as it sets rubbery rather than like concrete. Once the glue's been applied, I can position the new e-ink display and press it down into place. The glue will need some time to cure, so I'll put some light weight on top of the screen and leave it to set. Once complete, we can continue reassembling the Kindle. It's clear you're not supposed to replace the display as a single component, but rather the display and its accompanying frame, swapping over the motherboard in the process. This would circumvent the difficulty faced with this repair, however I wasn't able to find a display that comes with a new frame. Sliding the internals into the new housing, I find that it doesn't quite fit, despite being told it was a drop-in replacement. The top section is not seating correctly, so much so I can't fasten the screws. Removing the internals, I can modify this Kindle 6th generation Paperwhite 2 housing with a file to allow for the slightly higher midframe. It's only the left-hand side causing the issues, and once resolved, the frame will fit correctly inside the housing. Another difference is the lack of a screw thread at the top. As such, the frame will be attached with one less screw. With that, we can remove the plastic protective film from the new display before plugging the device in for a test. I never tested the device before all this hard work, so I have no idea if it's going to turn on. Pressing the power button, nothing is happening. It's not till I leave it for a few minutes do we see the battery flat icon, and eventually get the device charged enough to boot. I was expecting something to be on here, but it's been reset. My guess is some kids decided to smash it up and ditch it on the side of the road. But now that we know it works, it's time to get the front bezel installed. I'll attach some new adhesive around the perimeter. I was thinking of using liquid glue here, however I thought it would make a mess and spread over the screen when pressed down, so I resorted to using some tape adhesive. Once applied, the new bezel can be aligned and pressed down into place. And we're done. So this is it, an Amazon Kindle found ditched on the side of the road, restored back into working condition. If you have a Kindle with a broken display, I wouldn't attempt replacing it if you can't source a display that comes with a new frame attached, as the method we undertook to repair this Kindle was almost impossible. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing and check out the phone restoration playlist for more videos just like this one. And if you're looking for any used devices, be sure to check out my online store, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.